And there's another thing at that time. Since we didn't have money, I had to work. So I got my first job when I was 14 years old. So 14 years old, I was working there in a railroad system as an electrician. So my first job was electrician of the railroad system. One of those days, I was there studying, working, and I told my friends there, you know, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to the Air Force. And you imagine, they look at me like if I was crazy. They said, this is impossible. This is just for rich people. You are not going to pass. They are not going to accept you there in the Air Force. Forget this. You're going to be frustrated. Again, to the young guys here, every time you have a dream and you talk about your dream to the people, normally they will say, this is impossible, this is very difficult, you're not going to pass, and so and so. Don't listen to them. I went home that day, and I was there having dinner. My mother, she's here, this picture here, she was Italian, and blue eyes, very energetic person. She looked at me and said, why are you so sad? I said, well, you know, I want to go to the Air Force, but they said this is impossible. She said, no, don't pay attention to this, she told me. And she looked in the eyes and says, look, you can do and you can be whatever you want in your life if you study, if you work hard, if you persist, and if you do always more than expected from you. 4 things. She said those things with so much energy, with those blue eyes. And until today, I remember the voice. I remember her telling me that. Okay, she was right. I studied a lot and I passed. So I went to the Air Force Academy. I became a pilot first, and then a fighter pilot. And I did the aeronautical engineering course, became an aeronautical engineer, and then a test pilot. And that time, I flew in Brazil pretty much everything that the Air Force had. And then they sent me to the US Air Force in Edwards Air Force Base. And there I flew the F-15 and then the F-16. I'm talking here about 1994, 1995, about this. And then I went to US Navy, fly the F-18s. Then I went back to Brazil. They sent me to Russian Air Force. And there I flew the MiG-29 and Fulcrum, back to Brazil. And then another thing for the young guys, never stop studying. And then I did my first master's degree in optimization of orbital trajectories. And then I went back to US for a second master's degree in systems engineering, and then PhD in systems engineering. And then things start to be very interesting, because Brazil entered in the International Space Station program, and the Brazilian Space Agency need to select one astronaut. So NASA went to Brazil, and NASA and Brazilian Space Agency, they did that public selection, so it was open to anyone who had the curriculum necessary there. And I knew about this, applied, and I got selected. So that is how I ended up in this class, the NASA 1998 class of astronauts. So I started the course there, 2 years course, in Johnson Space Center in Houston. And this is me, as you can see here, in a very younger version. And this is my classmates, 32 of them, some internationals here, like Leopold from France, Hans Schlegel from Germany, Paulo Nespoli and Roberto Vittori from Italy, and Bjorn from Canada. Also, look at here, this is Leland Melvin. Nowadays, he is the guy in NASA responsible for all the education, all the outreach programs. He's responsible for this. And Sunny Williams, I'm very proud of her. She's from my class, and she is the woman in the world with the most time in space. So she holds that record. And she's a very nice person. And this guy has something interesting too. Let me show you. Okay, after 2 years course there, I was a mission specialist. That's a beautiful name for a space mechanic. So my job in space is to fix things, to do all the maintenance, to keep the spacecraft working fine, and also doing experiments for Brazil and other countries. So that's my job in space. And after 2 years course, December 2000, I was ready for flight. So I was expecting to fly the space shuttle in 2001. No, it will get delayed. And delayed. Again, delayed. And in 2003, I'm sure you remember that, we lost 7 friends in a Columbia accident. After that, all the space shuttle flights, they were cancelled until 2005. And in 2005, the Brazilian Space Agency decided to do the first Brazilian mission to space. And since the space shuttle was not flying, they sent me to Russia, so major partners of the International Space Station. So I went to Moscow, actually to Star City, or Звездный городок, how the Russians call the city there. And that was a big challenge, because I had just 5 months for training, to learn about all the Russian systems, all the Soyuz systems, all the systems in the Russian side of the International Space Station. And I had to perform all my duties there normally. And it was really, really, really difficult. Besides of this, I also had to learn Russian, because, you know, they speak Russian over there. And I had to read the checklist, read the manual, read the panel, communicate through the communication systems. So I had to learn Russian in 3 months. So, говорить на русском языке — это очень трудно. Но это можно. Очень трудно. I mean, speaking in Russian is difficult. It's possible, but it's difficult to learn fast this. But I had to do it. And you know, that was a big challenge. Think about this. 200 million people in Brazil expecting me to perform very well in that mission, to do everything right. And you have this, it's a very heavy load. I'm sure you can evaluate that. But that's normal. When you are getting closer to your objective in life, it's the moment that you have the biggest challenges. It's that time. So this is normal. But I'd like to point another thing here. Normally they say you have a professional life and you have a personal life, right? But we have just one life with different activities, but just one life. And if anything goes wrong in one side, the other side will feel the effect, the impact of that thing happening. My case, back there in Houston, I have 2 kids. Not kids anymore, they are adults, but Fabio and Ana Carolina. Back there in Houston at that time, I'm sure for the Brazilians here, probably you don't know about this. Most of the Brazilians don't know about this situation. But since I began this presentation telling about the emotions, about the human being inside the uniform, I think it's important to mention that. My son, Fabio, back there in Houston, he got this diagnosis of cancer, lymphoma kind of cancer. And for a parent, I'm sure the parents here can evaluate the situation, it's very difficult. It's like if you have I don't know, 1 ton here, and you have to carry that. It's very difficult to stand up and keep working, keep doing your things, and do your best to fulfill your dream and to fulfill all the needs for the mission. But I had to do it. And I remember Fabio telling me this. He said, you know, in Brazil, we have 200 million people expecting you to do very well in this mission. And I'm part of them too. So go there and do your best. Now, make me proud, like something like this. So I went to Russia this way. So this is Star City. The official name is Yuri Gagarin's Cosmonaut Training Center. There's some views from there. I'm sure you can evaluate for a Brazilian. This is not a normal thing. I got there in October 2005 and stayed there until March 2006. So I got the entire Russian winter, and the average temperature there was about -20 degrees Celsius. So very, very, very cold, especially for me. So I was there. The training was very tight. We didn't have much time, so I had to study a lot. and actually the training for astronauts. Normally we think about the physical training, but forget this part. This is the easiest part. It's just the most challenging part is the studying, all the intellectual part. So be prepared to study a lot there. And knowing all the systems, you have to know the systems very well. You have to know how to survive in zero-G environment, so how to work in zero-G, how to eat, how to go to the bathroom, how to sleep and everything in zero-G. And after the 5 months training there, I was sent to Kazakhstan, Baikonur, for the launch, and completely different place. You know, all the desert, a lot of technology hidden there, until not long ago, that was a very secret place. So imagine how different is the place there. Historic as well. So this is it's strange saying this, my rocket going to launch. It seems like the cartoons saying, this is my rocket. So this is my rocket going to launch. So getting into position, and this is prepared in position. And when I saw this rocket there, this position, I was very happy for two things here. I pointed. First thing, look at here. First time the Brazilian flag was on this rocket, the big Soyuz rocket. Second thing, look at the colors here. Yellow, yellow, green, yellow, green. I look at it and said, wow, I look at the Brazilian flag. Yellow, green. When I saw that, I said, wow, they painted just for me. No, you know, the Kazakhstan flag is also green and yellow. So it was happy anyway. Okay. This is the crew, the Soyuz TMA-8. Fabio Vinogradov, Russian commander. Jeffrey Williams, American. And I, Brazilian. Getting prepared for takeoff here, all the preparation with the flight suit. This is last interview. This is the backup crew. This is Sergei Volkov. He was my backup for the flight. If I had anything bad or something happened to me, he would perform the Brazilian mission. Then, March 29th, 2006, the day of the launch. Big day for me. I was there sitting at the top of this big rocket here. It's 49 meters high. So it's pretty much like a 16 stores building. So it's a pretty high rocket. I was sitting here, and from here down is 200 tons of fuel. So it's a big bomb there. You were sitting in a big bomb. And sometimes people ask me, you know, what was the most remarkable moment of the mission? It's difficult to say, because in space flight everything is remarkable. But there was a very special moment the day before. I will explain why that. My family, Fatima, my wife, Fabio, my son, and Ana Carolina, my daughter, they stayed in Houston during the 5 months I was training in Russia. And then they went to Kazakhstan for watching the launch. The day before, they were there. And the Russians, they told me the way they used to say things. They said, Marcos, you go to room number such and such, and you're going to meet your family there, and you have 30 minutes, half an hour to say goodbye to them. Okay. I went there, and that was really strange, you know, because we never know about this. We never think about this, actually. What would you say to your family, to the people that you love the most, if you had just 30 minutes, half an hour to say goodbye to them, to the rest of their lives? It's strange, because we never know. We always think that the people are going to be around forever, that we are not going away, they are not going away, and we always think that we have another moment, a better day, to say something to them that we would like to say. For example, to say to your son, I love you just because you're my son, just because of that. And we always think that will be a better day to say that. But sometimes, most of the times, we don't have that day. So, if you never thought about this, and I thought about this twice. First one was when Fabio was there having chemotherapy. And the second one was during that 30 minutes window to say goodbye to them. I thought a lot about this. So don't waste time. If you can, be around people that you love the most, hug them, say whatever you want to say, be with them all the time, because you never know when will be the last time. So for me, when they left the building there, that was a very remarkable moment. Next day I was there sitting in here, all procedures completed, waiting for the countdown, and it's really amazing when that rocket starts, the engine starts, and all the vibration. 9 minutes after that, we go from Kazakhstan to the other side of the planet, literally at 200 kilometers high and about 25,000 kilometers per hour speed. So it's really fast. This rocket has 3 stages. First stage is 2.5 Gs, second stage 2 Gs, third stage about 7 Gs. And all that rocket is going away, and then you got into space and you see that beautiful view of Earth. Wonderful planet, blue planet, and we need to learn how to take care of this planet much better than we do nowadays. But sometimes people ask me, what did you feel? How is being there? I said, well, it's difficult to explain feelings. But I can say what I thought at that moment, and maybe this will take everybody with me inside and to see from my eyes the same view that I had. First thing that I remember, you know what was that? I remember my mother back there in Bauru, that day that I said, well, probably I'm not going to be an aviator. They said this is impossible for me to be a pilot. Remember that? And she told me, look at my eyes, she told me, you know, you can be whatever you want if you study, if you work hard, if you persist, and if you always do more than expected from you. Remember that? I remember exactly she saying that thing with those blue eyes looking at me. And actually, the blue eyes, they were exactly the same color of Earth here, exactly the same color. And it's important. When you get there and you fulfill your dreams, it's important to share that moment with the people that helped you to be there. Normally we remember everything that went wrong, people that did something wrong to us, but we forget people that helped us to be there. So that moment was very special for me, and I'm sure for her too. Unfortunately, she died in 2002, so that happened in 2006. So she couldn't see this with her blue eyes, but I'm sure she could see from a place, somehow, we could see there. And after that, you look her there, beautiful, and you start thinking, what's the most important thing in life, actually? Of course, the planet is beautiful, the universe is beautiful, but then you start comparing yourself with the planet, and you feel very contrary that normally we would think, you know, going there, so I'm an astronaut, I'm here, and so very proud of myself. No, you get there, you feel very, very, very small, like insignificant, very small compared with her. And so you think, well, I did all this to get here and to tell myself that I'm nothing. This is strange. You have to find something to hold on. And in my case, I start comparing this. I said, well, yes, I'm insignificant here. But Earth, compared with the universe, is also insignificant. It's a small planet there in the middle. But you agree with me that if Earth disappears in one moment, the universe before and after that event is different. There's a universe with Earth, universe without Earth. And if one of us disappears, although we are insignificant, nothing, if one of us disappears, the universe before and after that event is different. Yes, why is that? Everybody is part of the same thing. Everybody is part of the universe. We are part of the universe. So we are not so insignificant that way. We are part of a big thing, part of everything. And so I started thinking about this, and I felt much better. Some things start getting in my mind, like the golden rule that we've been listening since we were small kids, like treat other people exactly the way you want to be treated. Because if you think about this, if everybody is made of the same thing, if everybody is part of the same thing, if I do something wrong to her, I'm doing something wrong to part of myself. If I'm doing something good to him, I'm doing something good to part of myself. So it makes sense. I would like everybody could go to space and think the same idea. So we probably wouldn't see so many differences here or so many wars or things like this. Well, life would be much better, maybe, on this planet. And also, when I came back, I became a professor. In parallel with being an astronaut. And why is that? If you think about this, teaching is one of the most important things that we can do here. Because the future is on your hands, the small ones here. So teaching is the most important thing. Without good teachers, good professors, we don't have any engineer, any medical doctor, and anyone. So teaching is the most important profession that we can have. I'm sure all my friends there agree with me, although many will talk just about the systems, but I like talking about these things. I think it's important telling this. Let me show you some video, very exclusive video. This is the Soyuz in operation in space. Very few people in the world have seen this. So this is the interior of the capsule, all the panels, and we are working here. After takeoff, it takes 2 days for us to dock with the International Space Station. 34 orbs. And during all this time, we are rotating. The Soyuz is rotating in orbit there. So it's really strange. You have to be very prepared physically, mentally, and intellectually to operate all the systems during this time. I'm here inside this, the BO. BO is how we call the habitation module of the Soyuz, where we call all the experiments, all the materials, systems, equipment that we are taking to the International Space Station. And this is the view from the front window. This is your planet, our planet. Beautiful, isn't it? This is the view from outside. You see, this is BO, where we were just now, recording that. There's a hatch here, this is the capsule. There's a thermal protection shield here. This is the module, the propulsion module. Coming for docking, working with the systems inside the ISS, the International Space Station. That's the main job that we have there, to keep everything working fine. Again, systems, experiments. We took 8 experiments from Brazil to the International Space Station, and also inside there are a lot of different experiments from other countries. Let me show something about the normal life. Yeah? So this is an example of shaving in space. Of course, its easiest way is to use an electrical shaver. But here I would like to show the traditional way, just because the water. Look at the water, how the behavior of the water here. It's strange, right? It seems like a gel, but it's pure water. And we have to clean all this out. So but sleeping inside the International Space Station is very comfortable, actually, but when you have time. But you go inside the sleeping bag, and it's very good because you don't have any part of your body compressed by the rest of the body, the weight there. So it's pretty good. Eating, in there we can eat or food in cans like we have in the supermarket. So or dehydrated food that we take there and we put water, and that water is reused water. So okay, no, nothing about it. The taste is good. This is the crew again. So Jeff Williams, Pavel Vinogradov, and this is the Expedition 12 of the International Space Station. They were there. I came back with them. This is Bill MacArthur and Valery Tokarev. Some views from space, beautiful views. we have from there. This one here is interesting. Think about this. This is Earth. This is International Space Station. We are marked here. We go once around every 1 hour and a half, 90 minutes. So if the sun is there, we spend 45 minutes in the day side of the planet, 45 minutes night side, day, night. And so every time we cross this line, we see this view, the Terminator. It's really beautiful. Coming back, first thing we do is we detach from the International Space Station 2 orbs for checking all the systems. Everything is working fine, so we start the deorb burn procedure. And that starts here. The entire deorb procedure will take 26 minutes. So in 26 minutes we pass South America, Atlantic Ocean, north of Africa, and land there, the Kazakhstan desert, in 26 minutes. First thing we do is deorb burn, or we ignite the engine to reduce the speed here. And then we have 2 explosions that will separate the 3 parts of the spacecraft. The propulsion module and the habitation module, they don't have any kind of thermal protection, so they will burn completely during the re-entry. And our capsule here, we really hope that it's not going to burn. We are sitting here. Here's the thermal protection shield. It goes until 2200 degrees Celsius, so it's pretty hot there, and we can see parts of the shield, parts of the separation burning all over. So it's strange. It's like driving your car and you see parts of your car passing through you. So like, let's go my wheel, let's go my tire, things like that. So it's really strange. And then you have vibration, a lot of Gs. We can get into 11 Gs, but in our case we went to 7 Gs, which was very good. And more vibration bouncing when we have the parachute opening here. And then a hard land on the desert of Kazakhstan. They're really hard. You have to be inside the seat, otherwise you are going to break your collarbone and so on. And think about this. The time in space, because of the microgravity, we have our spine expanded like 1 inch. And of course we don't fit anymore inside the seat like we did before. So we have to force ourselves there to be in place. And that's very important. Let me show you this video. It's also very exclusive, showing the Soyuz coming back. This was recorded by Pavel Vinogradov inside the International Space Station. You can see here the propulsion module. I'm sitting here at the capsule, and the right seat here of the capsule, the Soyuz. The hatch here is closed, and we have a lot of trash here inside the habitation module to be burned during the re-entry. After the separation, you can see the 3 balls of fire here. Actually, we are sitting in this first one. It's Valery Tokarev, Bill McCartney, and I. It's very strange seeing this from outside, I can tell you. And you see here the habitation module and the propulsion module. They are burning and being destroyed here by the heating. You can evaluate the heating, the heat by the intensity of the light here. This reminds me the Columbia accident, and actually it's the same phase of the flight. Our capsule is still losing some parts here, but it's getting better and better. And this is the most critical part of the flight. Actually, it's also the most stressful part, because you cannot do much to pilot this small capsule in this situation. You have just to trust and believe that everything is going to be fine, and wait. And that's it. So see how is amazing this re-entry phase. This is the land, and this is the landing. This is how the capsule is after landing. See all the effects of the heating here. It's very good meeting your friends after the flight. I can tell you. This picture was taken right after they took me from the capsule. So I was completely disoriented here. The ground was like this. Okay, and then 15 minutes after they took that, I was much better. I was really happy. After 15 days in the hospital in Moscow, this is normal. We're checking your health after the flight. I was released to Brazil. So I went to Brazil and to meet with the Brazilians, the population, my friends, and my family. And I was really happy being part of something connected to education, science, and technology. I'm sure all of you here can evaluate how important are those three things for developing a country. So education, science, and technology. And for me, being part of that mission was really, really, really good. I am expecting to fly it again, probably 2015, 2016, I don't know yet. But I will do everything again. You know, it's not that good for your health, being in space, but I will do very gladly doing this for my country, for the world actually. When we are there, we are working for everybody on this planet. And this picture is very special for me, because that was a chance I had to meet my family. This is my father, and he was really happy. He was 90 years old that time. He was really happy, and I was happy too. And I had this chance to tell him how much I loved him, to tell how much was important, the things that he taught me during life for me to do all this. And then I had this chance to hug him, to be with him, and so on and so on. Then I come back to that point. Don't waste time. If you have time, if you can, you have the chance, well, take advantage of the opportunity of being with people that you love. Because you never know. 3 months after this, he died. Natural causes, all normal. He was 90 years old. And then a friend of mine, he told me something that my father told him during the time I was in space. My father told this friend of mine, he said, you know, I'm just waiting Marcus for completing his mission, and then I will go and meet with Zuleika, my mother, again. She died in 2002. Okay, that's okay. I was really sad when he died, but I was very calm because I had this chance to be with him and to show him how much I loved him. So that's it. I will be at 3:45, right? In the bookstore, signing autographs. I have some books there for the Brazilians down here. 3 of my books, they are there for selling, so I can sign as well. But thank you very much. Obrigado.
We have time for some questions. If you have any questions for Marcos, please.